Welcome to the Tearing It Up podcast. I'm your host, Taryn. We'll be tearing it up, tearing it down, and tearing it apart, dissecting all things related to those who deviate from the standard. From leaders of their industry to leaders of mediocrity, and maybe a gear review or two thrown in. We shoot the shit and let the conversations flow, so if that's not your style, this may not be for you. Otherwise, listen in. Hope to light a fire in you somehow. Hello! We're back. I feel like it's been forever since we've had a TNA, but I know there's a couple guests in the lineup in the queue here, so maybe by the time this is aired, it actually won't have been that long. But we have a lot to catch up on. It feels like for sure.
We sure do. We sure do. And I've missed the last few recordings, so I'm glad to be back. I haven't listened to either of the episodes, but that's also one of my favorite things is to be able to listen to this as a listener. So,
I love that. Yeah. I was going to say that's the thing too of why I feel like it's been so long is because the last couple, you haven't been able to make, and I know I've gotten a couple recordings done in like a week, so that's why I'm like, okay, I've had like 3 conversations without her, but it feels like it's been a month, but it hasn't because those all just happened within short time periods. But so happy to have you here with me today.
Likewise.
At least across virtually anyways. And soon enough,
as we do,
we'll have our biannual in person. Maybe it's going to be a triannual this year, now that I was there in April. We'll be back in July, in or around July, that's all up in the air-ish. Well, I know in July, and then hopefully in the fall. Hopefully I don't just do this two trip a year thing, and then maybe even you down here one of these times. That's what we're going to be working on.
And if June doesn't happen for me to come down there, I would love to bring a quality burrito down to California with me.
Yeah. And sometime in the fall or before school, maybe August or something, that would be awesome for sure.
Exactly.
For sure. Well, the last couple conversations, again, just kind of depending on when this airs, that maybe it will be thrown in there, but I know that I know for sure the last 2 episodes I haven't talked about bikes. So
what?
We took
How's
a little bit of
a
bike break. And again, if this one airs the week of the 30th or whatever, then that will be 3 episodes without bikes. But anyways, we're definitely talking about some bikes today because we are less than 2 months out from the Sturdy Dirty, and I am really trying to get a gravel bike. So I have not been on a mountain bike trail. I've not been on single track yet this year, so I'm going a little bit crazy. I've been enjoying just getting on my bike and doing this kind of road ride I've got going on. But I'm like, God, I got to go downhill because, now I look at the calendar. I'm like, oh, my God, this Dirty Dirty is coming up. But it's just been really cool to, like, casually ride my bike. And I've honestly, when the thought has come about, like, riding uphill, I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to climb. But hopefully I am going to get out there today for a quick little ride because it's at that point where I kind of just got to do it. And once I get one ride in, it's going to be like, okay, this is
floodgates.
This is why we're here. This is why I have this bike. Hopefully I can get a gravel bike so I'm not just using my mountain bike on the roads. I've got possibly a really great hookup on one that maybe an acquaintance friend of mine may be bringing a bike up from Reno today for me to give a little test drive. And he's got a good hookup with this particular brand that
is thrilling.
It'll be, so I talked about Poseidon bikes, and they have a gravel bike that's like $900. I was like, that's great. Like, I just want something. This bike though, I'd be getting a really screaming deal that I'm like, cool, I'm not spending that much more than I would have been on the Poseidon bike, but this bike is actually like worth like way more. So no like shade on Poseidon because I'm sorry, I don't know, I haven't used your bikes or anything, but this opportunity has arisen and I think that I would love to take it if I get it, and hopefully it feels good and fits good because I just keep daydreaming about like getting bags and
Yes, bitch.
loading it up. Just going down and
Yes.
doing some simple one or two overnighters down at the reservoirs by me for some bike packing trips and
Yes.
spending some longer days in the saddle. Sometimes I wonder if that means I'm going to not be doing as much mountain biking. But you know what? After the conversation I had with Danny Reyes Acosta, I'm like, the idea or pressure that we put on ourselves about who we should be is so silly. Like, who, if I am having more fun riding gravel right
Like
now,
gravel.
that's
Yes.
where I'm at. Okay.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
level I'm at. That's what's available to me and where I'm enjoying things. It doesn't make me less of a person or a badass because I'm not like riding as much single track. And yeah, it's just a pure ego thing of like, oh, who am I if I'm not
Yeah.
going downhill fast, like
Totally.
old?
Yes, and yes. Also, less chances for like serious injury. I don't know. Mountain biking, I just always feel like constantly out of control,
Yeah.
especially going downhill. That it's like like there's just so many chances for something to go wrong, and
Yeah. I'm at a
it's
point in
a
my
high
life.
risk sport.
Yeah, I'm at a point in my life where going a longer distance is more appealing to me than like white knuckling
Yeah, fuck yeah,
downhill and then being like, cool, so glad I made it.
yeah,
Now I can go on with my day, or I'm shot from the adrenaline or whatnot. Like, don't get me wrong,
yeah,
it's fun, super stoked for the sturdy dirty and everything, but and as I said, since I haven't been out there on the trail yet, I think it's also a combination of things that I have I haven't gotten there this year, so it's not flowing through my blood yet, but I have a good feeling it will be as soon as I actually get out there. But again, it's more of that a accessibility. I keep wanting to like really spell that out. A sexability
accessibility.
that when I'm trying to go get on the single track, I'm looking for a buddy. And
Yes,
when I'm just gonna go try to hit these gravel roads or ride to town, that's all on me. I'm like, cool, whatever.
yes,
I don't need anybody. I'm just gonna go get this done, and it feels really good to do that. And instead of like take a pause and try to find someone first, and like, oh, no one wants to go, like, okay, I guess I'll go by myself or go do this trail. And I know, like, obviously there's the Illa app, and I should be taking some more advantage of that. But again, when it just comes to like today, we were going to record a little bit later in the afternoon than we actually are. So I didn't think I was going to be able to really ride at all. And now that our schedule changed a bit, I'm like, cool, I can go fit in this quick little single track loop. So I'm going to do that. But
yes.
so yeah, I could get on the Illa app and maybe find someone to join me within this quick time frame and turnaround. But I also really, with my first ride of the year, don't mind doing it alone, or there's only two other people that I'd ask, and I did ask them and they're not available. So I'm going to do it by
Yes, yes.
myself. It's just a really good chance for me. I like to, assess my body, my feelings, not have any pressure for like small talk. I just quite literally need to get back in the saddle and be very self-aware. So I
Yeah,
do not mind
reassess
doing
where
this
you're
alone.
at.
Yeah.
And it's best to do that like alone,
Yes, I do it better alone for sure too.
but
So
it's also safer to ride mountain bikes downhill with a buddy.
exactly. Because this trail is so short and low key that I'm very confident in it. But no matter what, shit can happen
Yeah.
anytime, especially when you are kind of being complacent. That's when things do happen on these trails that you know so well and whatnot. But I have a feeling today will be very, very slow going. And hopefully the time of day that I get there, there's not like just a bunch of people where I'm just like, oh my God, pulling over and letting people pass me. um, but I'm excited to get out there. I put the like pad on the back of my tailgate today. So I was committing like, definitely I have to bring the bike down today.
Yep.
And yeah, just been thinking about bikes all the live long day. You mentioned
Yeah.
you just took your bike to the shop.
Uh-huh. Yep. My derailleur broke the last time I rode, which
Right.
was like 2.5, 3 weeks ago now. And I finally got it into the shop. It was a quick, easy fix, but my amazing mechanic over at Opalescent Cyclery, I love you, Adriel, so much. He's leaving on a long trip this Wednesday, and he's like, let's get it in real quick so that you're not like stuck without a bike for like the next 2 weeks. So I brought it in, fixed my derailleur, and then he's like, so when's your race? Let's get your bike ready. And so I scheduled a time to bring my bike into the shop on the first week of June. And I'm going to get new grips. I need to shorten my handlebars. I need a new saddle, like nobody's fucking business. The thing that I've been riding on is just fucking pathetic. You know what I mean? Like, not only is our saddles shitty, but when they're really shitty, they're really fucking a pain in the ass. And yeah, so I just like, I'm stoked to get it all swagged out for the Sturdy Dirty. I'm stoked to like narrow down a theme for us. I'm just getting very, very stoked here. And I was also thinking, I was like, okay, what have I been doing to train? Not a whole lot. Like I've been riding my bike maybe once a week on the roads, but I was like, you know what's really good training for mountain biking? Mowing lawns, like mowing grass, because you're like all that like gripping and like the forearm workout. I've got plans to mow a lot of lawns.
That's hilarious. You should talk with Jason and see if he needs any workers, any help.
Oh
Pick
man,
up a
yeah.
job with him once in a while.
Yeah, I actually
That's
could. I have
hilarious.
time in my schedule. I could probably do that. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna be mowing some lawns this week.
So funny. I love that. I went back to CrossFit, so I've been doing that, but
Good job.
and I think that, you know, having that strength will definitely help. But I just know I need to be biking uphill. That's what I do love about enduros, though, as I always say, is like you're not timed on the uphill, but even though I'm not timed on the uphill, or you're not timed on the uphill, I still want to be in great shape to climb it, so that when I get to the top, I'm not just spent and now I can't ride down. So today will be a great kind of telltale of like where I am physically, because I have been doing some things. And also I do want to mention, you know, I had grand plans of trying to create a training program for Sturdy Dirty, and that definitely fell by the wayside. I hadn't reached back out to the mountain bike group I talked to because they hadn't reached out either. But of course it was on me to do it, but I was kind of like, okay, well, I don't think they're not like, you know, missing it. And it's a little bit hard. I get conflicted when I'm doing something like CrossFit and then creating a plan. Like with FrostFit, when I did that, I was doing the program as well because I wasn't doing another training program. But it's hard for me to like not do the program along with the people, especially if it's something specific for the Sturdy Dirty. So I'm like, I don't know, because I just really want to focus on what I am doing at CrossFit and not try to have like 3 different training programs going on here. So I don't know, still playing around with maybe I can get something together for like the last month that just revolves a lot more around being on the bike, and some off-bike training for people who are not like doing any strength training, because it's more kind of like maintenance. Like you're not going to be trying to lift super heavy and get these PRs the month before, but yeah, you want to still have great strength off the bike. But also just with going through some transitions just in life in general, there was just not time to come up with it. I thought I was going to have time in April, and then that wasn't the case as I took on a couple extra like side gig things. And then now I've also transitioned out of my position with Tahoe Mountain Sports. And this is really the first, I'm on my second week, I guess, of not being there. And I've still found myself to be very busy.
Yes. Yeah.
And also just letting my brain like not be jam-packed. Yeah. So I kept thinking, I'll start that this week, putting together a program. But again, it's just not there. I've really enjoyed going to the gym myself and just having someone tell me what to do instead of trying to come up with something. It takes a lot of of energy and focus to
Mm-hmm.
create things like that. And I didn't want to just put together something shitty. And I knew that if I wasn't giving it the attention it needed, then it wouldn't be something I was super proud of. So it did not come to fruition in the way that I thought or hoped it would, but there was some other things going on and changes that were taking up my mind, and here we are, and I'm just really
Yeah.
excited to ride my bike.
Girl, same. Girl, same.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's still enough time.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because
And I understand capacity and
mhm.
like all that stuff plays a role, but we still have 2 months.
Yep,
Wait,
and a month and a half.
like a month and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. If I do something for the last month or 5 weeks or something, at this point, it can be a lot more simplified because it will involve more on the like being on the bike in simple training outside where it's gonna be the same, just like CrossFit kind of was, like week to week you're making
Yeah.
very gradual changes because the focus is gonna be towards a race. So like, so you're not necessarily like going up in weight or doing these crazy movements. It will be basic shit: lunges, squats, some push-ups, some planks, like
Yep.
fundamental stuff that's
Mowing
making you
lawns.
stronger. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So what, it's Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there is time that I have like in this week that I may finally be able to decompress a little bit more and get the inspiration to throw something together if you're not already doing the like train to be sturdy or working with anybody else. I know we had Jen Cates on the episode, and she does her program Shred Strong, which is, it can be race specific or just recreational, but yeah, there is still time. 5 weeks, 6 weeks is still plenty of time for you to get those
Make
muscles stronger than they are today, at least to make you feel good on the bike. And again, all of that isn't just about being strong to like compete in a race. It helps with just recovery. And if you do crash, like your body is just way more equipped to recover from strenuous training or a crash or anything when you have the like strong muscles, and then building up your bone density around that even too. Resistance training helps all of that. So I think every woman should be doing it, whether you're biking for fun, biking at all, or biking to
yeah.
compete. Like, you gotta work it in there. So that's more of the message I want to push as well, is like, you don't have to be doing this race to be doing strength training amongst other things. But yeah, so I am definitely excited to see where I'm at with my breathing ability today on the trail.
I believe in you.
Yes, and I'm super excited that you're getting your bike in and you're gonna do all these kind of modifications to it to make you feel super good. Because I tell you what, it made a huge difference when I rode up there last April and rented that bike versus when I rode the trails like on my bike, and also just
Yes.
being familiar with the trails. So I'm hoping this
And your
year.
equipment, being
Mhm,
familiar with your equipment.
yep.
Girl. Like I said, I need an upgrade on my saddle situation like it's nobody's fucking business. And I know
Yeah,
it's going to cost a pretty penny, but I'm like, shit.
that'll be worth
She
it.
needs it. Yeah.
Our saddles, well, I'm sure it depends, just like everything, but like they're probably
Well, there
less
was,
expensive than some other parts.
yes, there was one that I was looking at that's like $200.
Well, the hard part about saddles is testing.
Yes.
You can't really go
Really test it
demo
until you're
one.
testing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can
Um,
measure all day. You can do the sits test. You can do this and that. But
yep.
it's like you don't know until your ass is in that saddle.
Well, there's so much variability in it too, like so I did a bike fit. I think I talked about it last year because of the sturdy dirty. And so
Yep.
in a bike fit, you're getting measured from all these different points. And I was telling her a little bit about where I was feeling uncomfortable with my saddle. And so we made some adjustments, but depending on the pitch of the hill, how long the hill is, I mean, so many things, it just changes throughout a ride.
Mm-hmm.
So it it just feels like it's never gonna be perfect, but it should not be painful and you should not be going numb. So if you're having any of those issues in your downstairs mix-up on a bike ride, then I would even say doing a bike fit could be your first step. Bike fits are not cheap either, though. Those can be a few $100s. So just know that it is a professional, like you are paying a good price to get a good bike fit, and they might help you decide, like, yeah, it's the saddle, you should get a new one, and give you some suggestions and whatnot based on measurements. And like you said, your sits bones, they have like the heat test, I think, where they can see where exactly the pressure points are in your sit bones on a saddle. And so from that, they might be able to help you, but that's just another investment on top of that. So, but if you can talk to a professional, at least maybe first, they might at least be able to give you a clue as to like, yeah, your saddle's definitely the problem, and then we can do some fitting, or sometimes it's just vice versa. But yeah, pain and numbing, like go change something. Something has got to change. So sometimes it's simply the position, the like nose of the saddle's just tilted up too much. So then if you're going uphill, it's really right in there. And the degrees, I mean, you're talking like tiny amounts of movement that make a huge difference. I was all stoked on getting certified to bike fit last year because the gal that I used, we haven't had her on the podcast, and I want to, because she also runs Outdoor Women's Wellness here in the Reno Tahoe area that I've been an ambassador for, but her name is Zoe, and she was moving to South Lake, the South Lake areas. I was like, there's no one in the North Lake area that does it, and this would fit really well with like my personal training clientele. A lot of my clients, you know, they like to get outside, they bike and things like that, and I feel like it speaks to my audience. And it's something I'm super interested in and want to be able to have that tool. But I, by the time I had considered it, you know, it's like the end of bike season last year. So I'm like, no, just the usual story. I thought about it too late, and then I was like, no, wait till next year, and blah blah. But it's still something I'm considering doing.
Yeah, dude, I think you would be excellent at that.
Yeah, I think it's just, like I said,
and what a great skill to have. You know what I mean? Like, once you hone it, and like even for me, like there will be times where I see somebody on a bike and I'm like, whoa, this needs to be adjusted, or that needs to be, you know what I mean? Like your saddle needs to be higher, like your knees are at your elbows. That's not cool. Yeah. Like with Quincy right now, his bike, I keep on being like, you need to raise your saddle. You need to raise your saddle. And he's like, no. And I'm like, bud. Yeah. So I've been adjusting it slowly, unbeknownst to him.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
I still have some more tweaking to go, but little does he know.
Well, yeah, like I said, again, you don't have to be a person who's trying to compete, or you're biking every day or something for it to be beneficial to you. If you're just doing it for fun, like biking for fun, a bike fit can still be of great help to you, because overall it's putting your body in the correct position. So then you're not going to get an overuse injury or get off the bike and be like, oh, my knees hurt so bad, because, well,
or your back.
You're not having full extension in your legs, and you're too crunched up, and you're more sore from a ride because you're using the shit out of your quads because your seat's too low or something. Yep. So yeah, it is, like I said, an investment. So a lot of people look at it as like they can't do it or don't need to do it unless they're riding like for a reason other than fun. But no, if you're just riding for fun and you're riding often, that's still a great reason to do it. Because like I said, then it prevents overuse. It can help prevent overuse injuries and can help recovery, and just make you have more fun out there when you feel good on your bike, and you're not just like in pain because you're in a bad position.
Yes,
because we've all been there. But I'll keep you all posted if I go through the steps. But I did also want to mention on that sturdy dirty note you brought up theme, and so I just wanted to touch on that again, because since Amber's racing this year, we've got our little like team here, our duo, our two-lady team. Yeah. And so with the sturdy dirty, there are people there who are, you know, have teams or just like groups, and so they wear, you know, matching outfits or whatnot. So we were trying to come up with a theme, and what should our theme be? we're thinking overalls, like these Wild Rye overalls. I don't know what else. Like maybe we'll look into some jerseys, but the jerseys would probably be something that we can't just get two of, which means
Yeah.
that any of you out there who want to support the pod or something and want a bike jersey,
Yeah.
then let us know, because maybe that would be something that we could look into further. And yeah, just have another cool piece of merchandise or something for all our
Yeah.
bike fans out there. But yeah, if you've got a theme, any kind of ideas, like, so I can't stop thinking about pizza now, Amber, because before we got on, you were talking about a bike bag that looked like a
Yep.
pizza. Now I'm just envisioning us being slices of pizza.
Yeah,
Like on
I'm
the
here
race.
for that. We could also be ketchup and mustard, my dude.
Oh my god,
Because aren't
yeah.
your overalls yellow?
No, they're
I could get.
green.
Oh, I thought you said you had the yellow shorts.
Oh, I do have yellow shorts. Yes, yes, yep.
So I could get like red and we can be ketchup and
Oh,
mustard,
that's
even though
true.
you love ketchup more than you love mustard.
I know,
And you
but
were
that's
ketchup
okay.
one year for Halloween.
I sure was. I love to tell people about it too. It was my best costume yet. So
It was so good. I mean, the disco ball was pretty righteous.
disco ball was good. It was good. If it
Yeah,
was a full disco ball, it probably would have been better, but it's okay.
100.
Yeah, ketchup and mustard. That's a good one, because I do think Wild Rye has the like a maroon short.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
too
I'll
sure right
check
now what
them
they have
out. They're
left in
having a
stock.
big sale right now.
Big sale,
Big sale.
30%
Yeah.
off on summer stuff. So in season stuff, 30% off. That's that is huge. That is really something you don't want to sleep on, because that doesn't happen very often. Usually you see
Mm-mm.
that midsummer or at the end of the season, but the season just got started and they're putting some of their brand new stuff 30% off. I thought I was reading things wrong, and then I saw 70% off on past season stuff. So I've been looking at it honestly like every day. Like, what can I get? Like, what do
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need?
yeah.
Like, don't need
And there's
anything.
some things in there that are under $20 that I'm like, fuck yeah, I want
Yeah.
that.
Yep. So if anyone out there has ideas for themes, Mario Luigi, that's another thing that
Ooh,
came
good
up in my
one.
mind because of
Yep.
overalls.
Yeah. Ooh, we
Yeah,
could
let
wear
us know.
mustaches.
Oh my god, yes, yes. Mine would probably sweat right off.
Shit, yeah.
Well, I
Shit,
guess we could
yeah.
put it like you have to wear a full face. So, oh yeah, speaking of, do you
Oh,
have
I
a
didn't
full
know
face?
that.
I have an
Yeah,
extra
I do.
one also. Okay.
It's
Um,
old, it's old, it's old, but I have one.
Mine's older, but I've only used it a couple times. So if it's old, if your helmet's old, that's okay.
Yeah.
But if it's had impact, that's not okay.
I don't think it's had impact. I mean,
Yeah.
aside from, because I share, it's one that I share with Quincy, and so it's like been in a child's care. So there's been many times where he's like, I'm done with this thing, and I just throw it on the ground. I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I have another one too, just because maybe then a new one. Like, and I mean, there's definitely been plenty of technology with helmets in the recent years, which, yeah, a newer helmet can change things for sure. There'll be one like just lighter, and like with MIPS technology is a huge thing you'll see in a lot of spider helmets. But yeah, if you have an old helmet, it's better than nothing. But like I said, the
Yeah.
biggest thing is impact with ski helmets too. I need a new ski helmet really bad, but now I've lost this spider and I'm scared. But anyways, it's like really close to my body.
I wish I could help,
Yeah,
but
well, if
I'm
you could,
hundreds of miles away.
yes. If anyone out there has some team ideas, throw them at us, because we'd love to hear it. We got some time to figure out costumes, if you will. Also, yeah, I'm hoping that I will be up there a good amount of time before the race to actually get on the Raging River trails more than once. And have a safe ride before then.
Yeah.
Like last year, I had that big crash before it. So I think that's also why I'm kind of procrastinating of getting on the
Word,
bike. I'm
dude.
like, I don't want to crash before it again. But yeah,
What
I won't
category
be.
did you sign up for?
I think I signed up for beginner because last year I did the light. And
Yeah.
there's light, beginner, sport, and then like pro expert. So I think I did beginner because that was the thing. There was not much of a difference, or maybe they added beginner and it went from sport to light. No. Beginner, because beginner was what I was going to do last year. And then I was like, holy shit. But it was such a big difference from beginner and light. And I think maybe this year the beginner is going to be a little bit more between the light and the sport category.
Okay.
Rather than closer to the sport in mileage and stuff, but I'm not sure. I don't know if that's all even announced. So I believe I signed up for beginner again, and yeah, that's why I was just hoping to get up there and test out the trails because the beginner the first section of the beginner trail last year was like, not what I am ready to try to go down fast after I hadn't biked in 3 weeks from a huge accident that I'm still hurt from. So yeah, because what'd you sign up for?
I think beginner as well.
Yeah. I believe sport just adds 1 or 2 more sections or something. And well, it's just like more competitive. Like the women doing that are like, yeah, it's just they know
Sporty.
what they're doing. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think they've got quite a few races under their belts or are very confident. And again, I'm not trying to win, so I could do it, but I'll almost likely stick to the beginner because it's a long enough course. And I am still a beginner like racer.
Yeah, for real, same.
Only done one, so and you're just doing your first one, so I think that I'll probably just end up sticking to that this year unless something changes and I'm feeling like a monster out there on the trails. But I also want to spend some time like in the actual vendor area, and I feel like the race can kind of take a while when you're
totally
like you're not
doing
done.
the big.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
you were done pretty quick. I wasn't even anticipating you being done so soon, but it was fast.
But that was a very, very short course. But
yeah.
Well, anyways, besides biking, I guess we'll give it a little bit of a break. Probably not. I'm sure we'll come back to it. But anything new been going on with you?
Not really, dude. I'm like feeling good and in the flow of this new gig. I've got a good schedule going with Quincy. Life is good.
That's good.
Life is good. Yeah, I'm all settled in the new place and all is freaking good, and I'm ready for things to be good for a while. All is good everywhere right now.
That's good. I feel like I'm sure if we had a count right now of how many times we just said good in the last minute, it'd be a lot, but
hey, it's better than being shitty or like indifferent or all the other uncomfortable feelings, but truly all is so good right now.
I feel like it is truly spring. I'm not sure if we've talked about this the last time, but weather-wise, we're seeing some more sun and warmth. It's actually a little bit chillier this week than it was last week, but it's still spring, like weather, like sun's out, like it's just there. And I mean, rain also happens in the spring, but I mean more so like in life that I just feel like it's a transition period for both of us. You're still in the middle of a transition, being that your job still is fairly new. Your living situation is still fairly new. And transitions can last a long time, but I'm feeling that we're hitting our spring, both of us, where we have planted seeds and we are starting to see them sprout. So
yes, queen, like literally, it's so great.
Yeah, I'm
stoked on it.
Really, really feeling in my spring era right now and excited for what's to come. Sometimes I have a hard time with this course I'm in, I did a assessment recently of like saboteurs, and so I can't remember what this fell under, like the name of the saboteur, but this tendency to have this lying feeling that like waiting for the other shoe to drop basically when things are going good. And I'm trying really hard to just enjoy what's happening. And like I said, being in the spring, because we all know that life is just peaks and valleys. It just is. Like, you can't predict when either one is going to come or how long you're going to last in them. But so yeah, right now just trying to like, okay, we've got some Andrew and I both like some exciting things going on that we're just trying to build from the ground up, literally and figuratively. So I'm happy for us and excited for that. And I know it's not going to come, easy. I know there's going to be hardships of it where we're both going to hit points of like, whoa, what are we doing? What did we do? And all of this, but I can't let my mind get stuck in those what ifs, and I have to just let them be like, yeah, or they could be fucking great. We'll never look back. And
Yep.
like the only reason we'll look back is to say, why didn't we do this sooner? Just trying to really have those positive mindsets instead of, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this like waiting for something like
Pending
bad to
doom.
happen on it. Cause yeah,
Yeah.
that's just how I've always been, and it's something hard that I have to push outside of my mind, but I right now have a lot to look forward to. I'm super fucking excited, and uh yeah, that's just, you all find out more later. Nothing
Yeah.
super crazy. I'm just doing my own thing, doing some venturing out on my own, trying to get a few different gigs, do more of the freelancing thing instead of all one under one person or one company or something, because I've just always done that. I've always had a few things going on, and yeah, it makes me look at, I have the
It's a
opportunity
good
now to
skill
work
to
with this
have.
person or that brand or
Yeah.
this brand, and not any of it has to be long term. Maybe some will be longer term than others, but I feel like it's going to open a lot more doors for me than just waiting for like one other opportunity over here and one other opportunity over there, trying to fit it all in. um and and yeah, Andrew's got his own little thing going that I'm going to help him set up, and we'll be just a couple of business owners trying to
Yeah,
build a house.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. But other than that, like, yeah, just so this is just week 2 outside of officially being kind of done with my employment that I've had for about 5 years. So that feels weird.
Wow. Has it really
But
been five
well,
years?
5 years since I was at the shop, like, at all.
Yep.
But those, 3 years I was, like, part-time. I'd go a little like, work more in the winter, less in the summer because I was doing personal training stuff. The last 2 years has been the marketing, and it was, like, a mix of marketing and being in the store. It's really only been the last year that I was only doing the marketing, so quite a mix of things, but I haven't been with one place for 5 years ever. So it does
Yeah.
feel a little weird. Like, oh, that's like gone or done now.
Or I did
But
that. I did that. Now I can
yeah,
say I did that.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it was a good run. It was a good run for sure. And but yeah, excited to expand my skills elsewhere and be able to kind of pick and choose what I want to focus on and when, and have a variety of things, which in itself is hard, right? Always switching gears, but I've tried to fight this part of me for a long time and buckle down and only do one thing and stay that route. And that didn't work out for very long. I
Yeah.
mean, it was really hard to not take this opportunity over here, to look into that opportunity over there, and end up doing a million things. So it's like, why not just give into that?
Yeah.
But in this way that I'm doing it might work out more where it's more sporadic. It's not where I'm constantly working like 60 hours a week because I'm going to do this contract or that event or this and that. So I'll have kind of more seasonal like I used to be, where I was working at the mountain and then I'd have a couple of months like off, and then like summer would be really busy and then a couple months off, which not necessarily that much time off or between, but a little more like off and on instead of just always on. And that's what I think
Hmm.
has been my major problem in the last few years, is that I've just been on. I haven't done
Yeah.
this off on off on. It's just been fucking go, and that's yeah, I haven't been able to manage that well. So I think I do work
It's
better with the like turn it up and then turn it
yeah.
down, not on or off.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which I feel like when I think of you and the job that you have been doing the past 2 years in that marketing position, I feel like you've done a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope that other people feel the same too. I think I did well also for the skills that I had coming into it. I think I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I learned where my strong suits were, where my wants were really. And that's what's really come about in the last, I don't know, month or couple months or something. Is just kind of realizing, yeah, where my path is leading. Or where I want it to lead, I guess, because yeah, I'm finding like, oh, I don't really like doing this over here. You know, I want to focus more on this or that. And overall, like, yeah, I think that we need to be able to do that. As humans, we're going to change. Our wants change, our desires change. We change with the seasons, and we're made to feel like we have to pick something and stay that path like forever. And we've talked about this even with like when it comes to marriage or things like that. Like, I've just always had a hard time saying like, this is gonna be forever, always, nothing will ever change. Like, man, you don't know how you're gonna wake up one day and feel like this is your new thing. Maybe it only lasts a day. Maybe it is a true change. Like, just feel like it's okay to do that and to change your paths. And what 100%. We talk about and what this podcast was created on was showing that it's okay to not follow this linear path. And if you have followed this linear path, you can go off of it. You do not have to stay on it. I actually just read a post recently. This guy who is a co-host of a podcast I've been listening to a lot lately, The Rock Fight. He's also a writer for Adventure Journal, Justin Hausman. He posted something on LinkedIn, and it was about like how there's no opportunity as adults for like, internships and things like that. And he wishes there were more of those opportunities, because a lot of times you'll see like they're looking for someone who just graduated college, and whether it's because it's an unpaid internship or whatever, they want to groom them. I don't know.
just to get an in.
Yep. But you don't see those a lot, because when internships are available, they're looking at a person in their 40s or 30s of like, oh, you are like too old for this role. But it's like, why? I'm completely
or too wise.
Paths.
Yeah. It's more of a too wise thing, you know. Or like we at that age, you have a better idea of your self-worth, so you're not some like fresh out of college kid sitting in a classroom being like, tell me what to do. You're a full ass grown adult who has gained a bunch of skills and things to your repertoire, and you know better. I think that's more so what it is.
Absolutely. I can totally agree with that. Like I was saying with I think I used the word grooming, so I don't know if that's not supposed to be used in that, but maybe that sounds a little too intense. But yeah, I think that's the opportunity. Like, hey, we're going to teach you how we want things done, and you're not going to have a clue any other way. So you're going to do it. And just like you said, when it's somebody who's older, they've been in the workforce, maybe not in this industry, but they still have been in the workforce and have experience or are more confident just in themselves, that they're
wherewithal.
They might not just agree to do everything, but it just made me look at it in a different lens of, right, how do people, if they want to do something brand new, get back into it? Because ageism just is a thing. Even if you were to go back to school for something totally different and get your degree and come out with a degree, a master's, a fucking PhD in this new career field, and try to apply for a job at like 45, 50 years old, people are like, cool, you just got your master's and stuff, but like, you're still too old for this, especially when it comes to things like marketing, because marketing now so much is around social media and things like that, that I think that I even feel too old sometimes applying for some of these jobs, because I'm like, oh, they just want some Gen Zer who is so tied into
about the social media.
Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting. So because this all started, it was just about being able to veer off your path at any age, even if you have been on a linear path. You know, people hit times in their life that they want to change, which can often be referred to as midlife crises or crises. I don't know how you say it plural for real, but the fact that we have to call it a midlife crisis because someone wants a change is so absurd to me. I'm not having a
Thank you.
midlife
Yeah.
crisis or existential crisis because I don't want to do the same job
Midlife pivot.
anymore when I've just decided this isn't for me for any reason. It could be your personal environment, work environment, just the job
Living
itself,
situation.
figuring something else
Mm-hmm.
about yourself. Maybe you tried a new hobby and you realize I actually love cutting hair. Like I'd love to work in a salon
Yeah.
all day and cut hair and just talk to people. Like
Yeah.
who cares? Because it doesn't have to be considered a midlife or existential crisis just because you want to do something that's completely different from what you've ever done. Because at a certain age in your life, that's expected, and people promote it. Like, yeah, try all these different things and figure out what you like. But then at a certain age, you're like, no, no, no more trying.
Yeah.
No more trying. You should know by now. And it's just
Yeah.
ridiculous
You are
that,
in this. Yeah.
yeah, they
It
try to
is.
put
I
you in a
love that.
box.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the title of
Yeah.
this episode
Don't
is
put
This Is
baby in a
Not a Midlife
box.
Crisis. We are
Yeah, no,
not
this is not
having
a
a
it's a
midlife
it's a
crisis.
midlife reassessment.
Yeah. Just a yeah,
Midlife
it's a
adjustment.
reassessment. Yeah. Oh, all of it.
Yeah.
It's just a reassessment. It's just a change. I mean, it's you don't have to keep doing the same thing, especially if you're not
Or
happy.
yes,
Like just don't.
especially that.
Yeah, and
Well,
as
most
you've talked
importantly
about,
that.
exactly, most importantly that if you're not happy, that is the first sign and biggest sign that something has to change. Something. And it doesn't
Yes.
always like it maybe it's
Yeah.
not your job, but look what you just went through, like I guess almost a year ago, but we just talked about it not until this
Yep.
fall publicly, right? That you weren't happy,
Mhm.
and the root of that was your family dynamics, and that is a very hard thing for you to change, but you changed it. Sometimes for people it is the work environment, their job, and that's what they need to change, which is still not easy to do because you're
Yeah.
leaving stability, security, and
No.
maybe it involves you switching gears.
Comfortability,
Yep.
familiarity, all of
Yeah,
it.
all of it in any sense of like personal or work life or whatnot, you're changing those things. But if something is at the root causing you unhappiness, first step is obviously figuring out what that is and then changing it. And it is okay to fucking change it. So whether it's work related or personally related, maybe it's just, it could even just be a friend group, not necessarily like family dynamics. It could be family, like immediate family that you just have to kind of remove out of your life for a time period. I mean, people go through that shit. Families
Mhm.
are not
Shit,
always
yeah.
perfect. And yeah,
Yeah,
but I
family
just
dynamic relationships are some of the hardest.
yeah, absolutely, because you are tied to them. It's not easy to
And
cut them off or
history.
change. Yep, yeah, repeating patterns. Oh, so much into it,
Yep.
but I just really wanted to really pivot this conversation like you can in life from fun bike riding to midlife crises and what they are or not. And I'm here to say that they just don't
Yeah.
exist. You just want to
Yeah.
do something else. I don't
It's
think
not a
it's a
crisis.
crisis.
It's just
Yeah,
a readjustment.
it's not a
No,
crisis.
it's not a
You just
crisis. It's
have
not a
to,
crisis.
yeah,
Unless
uh,
it is.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, unless it is, unless you're like, unless it's like some what is that movie? American Beauty shit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That was pretty crisisy.
Yep, totally. Or you're like really gonna just like uproot and leave
Usually,
your
it's not that
entire
dramatic.
yeah. Like you wake up one day and you decided that you didn't do all these things in your younger life, so now you're going to abandon your family and responsibilities and everything like that. Yeah, that's more crisis level. But if you simply decide that you don't want
For
to
sure.
like live where you're living or work where you're working or fucking date who you're dating, that's okay. That's all
Yeah.
right. That's
Or
not so
go
much a
travel the
crisis.
world. Quit
Yeah.
your job and travel the world.
Yeah, you can figure it out. And so yeah, don't
Especially for people who have been in it straight out of college.
yep. Yeah. And so take a left, a right, a hard left, a hard right, whatever. But like sort of, if something's just, as we said before, just in your mind that just keeps coming back. It's like when you're shopping and you couldn't stop thinking about that item, then, because sometimes I impulse buy for sure. But other times I wait, and if I just can't stop thinking about it, I'm like, fine, I can go ahead and get it. But do I need it? I don't know, but I obviously really wanted it because it was consuming my mind like this fucking gravel bike for 3 years now.
Yep.
So it is time that I pull the fucking trigger and get this goddamn bike. So that's where I'm at with that. And evaluate what is happening in your body. Something just keeps coming to you over and over and over again, and you feel this twinge that won't go away, and you feel unfulfilled or just unhappy, and things are not giving you pleasure that they used to, then it is time. It is time, my friend, for a change, and it doesn't have to be on the same road
Mix it up.
you're on now. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
mix it up and try new things that make you feel things.
Yes. And I guess I have to say this because I think this podcast, I believe, will be out this week, this Thursday. And since we had Natalie on the podcast, she's another great example of just kind of veering off, trying many different things. She's 41 years old and doing the biggest climb of her life. She didn't find mountaineering until she was in her late 30s. It is never too late to try something new. But she has started her journey to Denali today. She flew out to the glacier. So you guys, by Thursday, will be able to follow along updates. There's link in the Instagram bio, in the show notes of her podcast. So if you're interested in seeing what her climb on Denali looks like, follow those updates because it will be a couple weeks long, the whole journey up and down. I think actually 3 total weeks is the expedition. But yeah, so just great example of someone just going after the thing that they want to do because they felt just a calling for it, without letting age stop her. So look at my girl Natalie for some inspiration and follow along her journey. And you can also still donate to her climb, for her goal to bring some Gold Star sisters and veterans to a weekend retreat in Leavenworth, Washington, for some healing in the mountains and finding connection with each other through trauma of losing people in their family or in their worlds close to them. So yeah, donate to her climb or just follow along and figure out what your own climb is and what mountain you're going to climb next. And we'll be there to support your journeys.
Yes, we will.
Well, I feel like that's like kind of a good place to sign off. I hope I didn't cut you off from any dreams of anything else you had to say.
Oh, I'm here for it. That was beautiful. Nope, nothing on my end except for that was lovely. Thank you. You're right.
You are welcome. And I am so happy I got to talk to you today. We will have Meg Carney on the podcast following this episode and a couple more really great guests. Tamara Jacoby, who owns the Tailwind Jungle Lodge in Mexico. Cannot wait to talk to her and plan a trip to her lodge. That's been on my list for about 4.5 years. So maybe we'll be able to do some kind of tearing it up retreat there. That's my ultimate dream. And yeah, we will talk to all of you guys very soon. Thanks for listening and bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and would do us a huge favor, since we don't have any sponsors or anything like that, and would rate and review us on whatever platform it is you use, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, whatever it is. And if you're listening and downloading just through the website, tearingituppodcast.com, leave comments. We'll definitely engage back with you. And on social media right now, we're just on Instagram. Tearing It Up Podcast is the handle. Like the post, share the post, comment on the post, whatever it is you got. Show us your love so we just stay relevant and show up in the rankings at all. So again, rate and review, please. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.